nó phải ngăn gì đây.
Well, hello again, and this is a little bit different video today. We are here in Northampton Town Centre on rather a historic trail with a musical theme. And here we are looking at a well-known coffee shop situated at number 32 Abington Street, Northampton, and one side runs into Fish Street as well. They do great coffee here, but I better add I'm in no way connected commercially with this coffee outlet. No, we're here to look at the two alcoves above the door. I mean, thousands of people must pass by each day or enter the shop without ever looking up, thinking, why are there two alcoves with organ pipes in on the front of this building? And I bet if people do notice them, they don't realise that these are real, genuine organ pipes that once, many years ago, entertained the Northampton people. And that these organ pipes actually came from a very early cinema organ used for accompanying the silent films from a Northampton Town Centre cinema. But first, let's answer the question, why are they over this shop like this? Which isn't easy, as this shop used to be a very good music shop called Fraser, Son and Mackenzie. And in the mid-1930s, they had this shop site all redeveloped, and being a music shop, thought it very fitting to have the organ pipes in the two alcoves above the front door of the shop. We can see a photograph of Fraser, Son and Mackenzie in the era of roughly, I think it's 1936 or 1937. I mean, they sold pianos and all manner of musical instruments and sheet music, records, gramophones, radios, and much, much more, they tell me. But do come with me now and we'll have a walk through the town centre to find the actual building that these organ pipes came from originally. Well, we've now reached the top of Northampton's Market Square, and this line of buildings at the top here is known as the Parade. And the building we're interested in is a rather sad, run-down white building with the 3 arches in the front. This was started to be built in 1850 and I believe finished in 1851, and it opened as a new Northampton Corn Exchange then. We don't sadly have time here to look at its early history, but if we fast forward to 1919, it had stopped being used as a corn exchange by that period, and also then a group of local businessmen were looking for a new location in town to open a new cinema, and this building seemed to fit all the requirements, so plans were put forward to turn this building into a cinema. During the conversion, an order was placed with the John Compton Organ Company for a brand new organ at a huge cost in those days of £6,000. This organ was not like later cinema organs by any means. It had almost like a church console, and as you'll see in a moment, the picture of Mr. Frank Slater sitting at it. It was 33 ranks in size. Five of those ranks were units, and it had various percussion as well. I think it had a glockenspiel xylophone and 1 or 2 other little bits and pieces on it. And it was very well received by the cinema goers, and it was used to accompany the silent films for the first 9 years. The cinema actually opened on the 2nd of August 1920. And this organ was played then right through until 1935, by which time it was thought very outdated, and by that time PCT had taken over running of the cinema, and they decided to bring a small Wurlitzer over from the Picture House Leicester and install that. That was thought to be a more modern organ by 1935. So come 1935, this Compton was just taken out the cinema by a local organ building firm, and by all accounts just scrapped. And that's where our story comes full circle. In the 1980s, I was doing some research on the cinema history of Northampton and had a few letters printed in the local press. And a lady kindly contacted me. She wrote me a lovely letter, and she was a relative of this organ building firm from Northampton who removed this Compton organ from the exchange in 1935. And she remembers, she was working in the office of this organ building firm then, and she remembers actually that they sold these few pipes from this Compton organ to Fraser, Son and Mackenzie for their new music shop. And she wrote me this lovely letter explaining all this, telling me, that every time she walked past Fraser, Sons and Mackenzie, she thought about, the fact that she had sold them these few organ pipes for their new shop. So that's how this story all comes about. There can't be many people left in Northampton that would remember or know that. And I think it's such an interesting story that these few pipes come from this very early historic Compton cinema organ that was in the Exchange Cinema here in Northampton. So that's why we have the 2 little alcoves of organ pipes over the coffee shop today. As I say, originally a music shop, and originally these organ pipes came out of the Exchange Cinema Compton organ, which is an amazing thing really. And I bet thousands of people walk past them every day or every week without ever realising where these come from or what they are, or that they are actually real organ pipes. To finish off, there was no recordings that I know ever made of the Exchange Compton organ, but the closest I can get to is the Shepherd's Bush Pavilion, the 1923 Compton organ that was installed there, and the legendary Quentin MacLean. And we'll finish with a little bit of music from a very scratchy 78 to give us some idea of probably what the Exchange Compton organ sounded like in 1920 when it opened. thanks ever so much for watching, and please do come back soon. I intend to do a few more of these little historic videos around Northampton. Please do subscribe. Please comment if you know anything about this story or have any thoughts on this story. Please put them below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll be back soon. Bye for now.